Hello everyone, my name is Ella Grace and today, December 6th, is St. Nicholas Day. And if you'll get out this little pamphlet, you can read all about St. Nicholas. This has a lot of cool information in it about his history and also has some traditions that some families do to celebrate this day, a recipe for St. Nicholas cookies that are really yummy, and a prayer service on the back that you can do with your family if you want to. But to learn more about the life of St. Nicholas, who we're celebrating today, we're going to be reading this book called The Legend of St. Nicholas. All right. The Legend of St. Nicholas. Nicholas was born to noble Christian parents, Johanna and Epiphanes, in around the year AD 280 in Patara, Lycia, in Asia Minor, which is now Turkey. As soon as he was born, Nicholas showed amazing and miraculous powers. On his very first day, he stood up in his bath and prayed to God. As a toddler, Nicholas fasted on every Holy Saints' Day. He refused to nurse, preferring to pray all day. And as a young boy, Nicholas preferred attending church to playing with other children. He loved to sing hymns and recite the Holy Scriptures, all of which he knew by heart. Nicholas was a sensitive child, deeply saddened by the sickness, suffering, old age, and death that he witnessed every day. He vowed to always help everyone everywhere in any way he could. When his parents died in a plague, Nicholas inherited great wealth. He made it his purpose in life to use all of his wealth and strength to help people in need and to glorify the Lord. There lived in Lycia a fine nobleman with 3 daughters who had fallen on hard times. The man was desperate, unable to provide dowries for his daughters, and he felt he had no choice but to sell them to prospective husbands. Young Nicholas learned of the man's misfortune, and late one night he knotted a pile of coins into a cloth and went into the nobleman's house. Nicholas soundlessly tossed the sack in through an open window. The next morning the nobleman found the coins and wept for joy, praising God. He would not have to sell his oldest daughter, but he would still have to sell the other 2. That night Nicholas again tossed a sack of coins through the nobleman's windows, and on the 3rd night he came back with a 3rd sack of coins. This time the sack of coins landed in the younger girl's stocking. The nobleman was awakened, and he pursued Nicholas, crying, "Stop, stop! Please let me meet you. Let me thank you." The nobleman caught up with Nicholas, falling to the ground and kissing his feet. The humble Nicholas asked that the nobleman never reveal his identity until after his death. Some people say it was this act of Nicholas's anonymous generosity that resulted in the Christmas tradition of St. Nicholas, or Santa Claus, leaving gifts for children in stockings or shoes. Nicholas continued to help the poor and the needy near his home. Then he decided to travel to further his knowledge and broaden his understanding of people and places. He made a pilgrimage to the Holy Land of Jerusalem. On the way, he recited the Beatitudes of Christ. "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Nicholas traveled as far as Alexandria, Egypt, a great center of learning. In the coastal town of Myra near Patara, the priests were choosing a new bishop. Early one morning, one of the priests heard an inner voice telling him to wait at the church doors and make bishop of the first person to come by, whose name would be Nicholas. Nicholas, just returning from his travels home to Patara, approached the church in Myra. "What is your name, young man?" asked the priest. "Nicholas, the servant of your holiness," Nicholas replied. At that, all the priests of Myra fell to their knees and rejoiced in their new bishop. Nicholas brought to his new position a sense of deep piety, humility, and great enthusiasm. He remains to this day the youngest man ever to be made a bishop. Not everyone during this time was a believer in Jesus Christ, and in around the year 305, when Emperor Diocletian was in power in Asia Minor, Nicholas suffered greatly during a persecution of the Christians. Under torture, Nicholas supposedly defended his faith in God and Jesus Christ as a glorious confession. For this, he was given the name the Confessor. In the year 1325, during the reign of Emperor Constantine I, it is thought that Nicholas was again tormented for his beliefs and put on trial during the First Ecumenical Council of Nicaea. The emperor was about to rule against Nicholas when suddenly an image of Christ and the Mother of God appeared in the sky over Nicholas. This holy apparition so impressed the emperor that Nicholas was saved, his bishopric preserved. This holy apparition so impressed the emperor that Nicholas was saved, his bishopric preserved. News of this and other miracles surrounding Nicholas spread far and wide. People from Scythia, India, Africa, Italy, and the farthest corners of the world traveled to Asia Minor to see, touch, and hear the great Bishop Nicholas of Myra. One night there was a violent storm at the sea near the coast of Lycia. Sailors caught in the storm were praying for their lives and cried out for Nicholas to help them. Immediately an apparition appeared in the sky saying, "You cried out to me, and here I am." The apparition commanded the waves to be calm, and the sailors were saved. A short time later, the sailors passed by a church where Nicholas was preaching. They recognized Nicholas as the man whose apparition had saved them from death, and they fell down in prayer. From then on, Nicholas became the patron and protector of seafarers and anyone who worked on the sea. A time came when Myra suffered a great famine and people were starving to death. A wicked innkeeper kidnapped 3 little boys, killed them, and salted them in a tub of brine, intending to serve them as food. But Nicholas, who loved children, learned of the evil deed and imprisoned the innkeeper. Then, praying to his Lord, Nicholas raised the boys' bodies from the brine and restored them to life. From then on, Nicholas became the patron and protector of children. Another story about Nicholas tells of a young boy named Dmitri who was swimming and drowned in the Dnieper River in what is now Russia. He was pronounced dead, and his family prepared to mourn their great loss. But the next morning, Dmitri was found alive and well, sitting and playing on the steps of Nicholas's cathedral in Myra. There was no doubt in the minds of many that Nicholas had saved the child. Time and time again, Nicholas protected children from harm and saved them from death, appearing miraculously to punish the wicked and free the innocent. Nicholas once appeared in a dream to Emperor Constantine, telling him to release 3 men from prison who had been wrongfully accused of a crime. So vivid was the dream that, upon waking, the emperor released the men, and from then on, Nicholas became the patron and protector of prisoners and captives. In December of the year 342 or 343, Nicholas felt his spirit being drawn strongly to heaven. He knew his earthly body would soon die, and he prayed to God to send angels to bring him home. Suddenly, angels appeared to Nicholas. He cried, "Into your hand, O Lord, I commend my spirit," and rose to heaven. His body was buried in a shrine in Myra, where some people believed his bones exuded a fragrant healing oil. Reports of his miracles steadily increased. It is said that Nicholas performed no less than 20 miracles during his lifetime. He was sainted after his death, and later Emperor Justinian I built the great church of St. Nicholas in Constantinople, which is now Istanbul, Turkey. For many years, St. Nicholas's shrine in Myra was the center of pilgrimage until the year 1087, when Italian merchants removed the saint's earthly remains and reburied them in Bari, Italy. The Church of St. Nicholas was built in Bari soon thereafter. The miracles of St. Nicholas and the cult of St. Nicholas became more popular throughout the Western world. Because of his reputation as a patron of seafarers, he became the patron saint of seafaring places, such as Greece, Sicily, Holland, and the river towns of Germany. Over time, St. Nicholas became the patron saint not only of seafarers, children, and prisoners, but also of pilgrims, travelers, voyagers, maidens, choir boys, firefighters, stonemasons, weavers, and butchers. In the centuries after his body passed into heaven, St. Nicholas remained one of the most popular saints. During the Middle Ages in Europe, his feast day, celebrated on December 6th, was a time of great merriment and gift-giving. Because of St. Nicholas's reputation as a lover and protector of children, a young boy was chosen to play the part of St. Nicholas during his feast day celebration. The boy saint led a great procession into a church amid trumpets, organ music, songs, and prayers. In Germany, Sweden, Switzerland, and the Netherlands, the custom arose of giving gifts in St. Nicholas's name during the Christmas season. In Holland, in the Middle Ages, Dutch children grew up with the festive custom of leaving hay and sugar in their shoes on the eve of St. Nicholas's feast day. St. Nicholas, or Sinterklaas, as he is known there, gave the hay and sugar to his horse, and in turn filled the children's shoe with nuts and candies. Dutch Protestants brought their traditional beliefs in the gift-giving Sinterklaas with them when they founded New Amsterdam, now New York. They popularized the belief in the generous, child-loving figure throughout America. Because St. Nicholas's feast day is in December, so close to when Christmas is celebrated, over the time the figure of Sinterklaas soon was transfigured into the character we call Santa Claus. Throughout the world today, whether he goes by the name of St. Nicholas, Sinterklaas, or Santa Claus, this figure who shows enormous generosity, a love of children, deep care for the poor and needy, and a completely selfless nature is considered to embody the spirit of Christmas and the true spirit of the Lord. The prayer of St. Nicholas goes like this: We call upon your mercy, O Lord, through the intercession of St. Nicholas. Keep us safe amid all dangers so that we may go forward without hindrance on the road to salvation. The end. So as you can tell from this book, St. Nicholas was a wonderful man who did his good deeds in secret. So I want you to think today on the celebration day of St. Nicholas, what can you do for someone in your life that would make their day way better, but keep it a secret and don't tell anyone you did it. Happy St. Nicholas Day!